people who know me well will attest to the fact that I'm somewhat of a control freak. I like to be in control, and I don't always respond well to situations or circumstances that don't go my way or they don't go the way that I've planned them, because it makes me feel like I'm out of control or that I've lost some sense of control. I was listening to an interview this morning with an author and entrepreneur who, his name is Ryan Holiday, and he, in this interview, was speaking about the fact that all of us, all human beings on planet Earth, share one common experience in which we have no control, and that's our death. We're all gonna die, right? But we don't control when, we don't control where, we don't control how. We're completely out of control as it relates to when and how we die, yet we're all gonna face that situation, that circumstance at some point in life. Now, Marcus Aurelius is well known for having written in his personal journal about how he struggled with facing situations and circumstances that he couldn't control. But one of the things that he noted, one of the things that he very astutely observed, is that while we all face situations and circumstances that we can't control, we can all control the way that we respond to those circumstances. Like, that's pretty heady, isn't it? That even though we will all face situations and circumstances that we can't control, we can always control the way that we respond to those situations and those circumstances. This past Sunday, at Grasslands Church, we were studying a scene from the life of Jesus, in which Jesus is explaining to a group of people, religious people, faith people, about who he is. He's trying to help them understand the significance of his life. And these guys are trying to control Jesus. They don't like what he's doing. They don't like what he's saying. They don't like the stuff he's going around and talking about. And so they keep pressing on him, trying to get him to incriminate himself and sort of control him, to get him to paint himself into a corner. And in this particular scene that we looked at, Jesus says some things that really were quite offensive to those people. In fact, their response to him, the way that they reacted, was to try to kill him. That's how they were going to try to control him. And we challenged ourselves as we looked at that scene on how we might respond in a similar situation. When we really dig in and we see who Jesus is and we understand the claims that he made about himself, how do we respond to that? What do we do in response to discovering who he really is? Now, in this particular scene, one of the things that Jesus said, which really had these religious people in an uproar, was that he said that people who put their faith in him or their trust in him, people who follow him, will never see death. Now, I double-clicked on that particular comment and kind of dug into it in more detail in my teaching, and you can watch the whole video on our website at grasslandschurch.com. If you just follow the resources link to the teaching, you can watch the whole video. It's also posted on our Facebook page. But I thought it was a very interesting thing, especially in light of what I was listening to this morning, about how we all face death and we all have no control over the way that we die or when we die or where we die. However, what I did realize is that we all have the control over how we approach death. We can control the way that we respond to the fact that we're all at some point going to die. And so we can approach things one of two ways. We can either approach it with a sense of confidence and a sense of peace and a sense of hope, knowing that Jesus has made a way for us to have eternal life. We can have a restored relationship with God, and we can spend eternity with God. Or we can approach death as some sort of unknown thing without really knowing what comes next. And in that, we might approach death with some fear and some trepidation. Now, I know this is really heady stuff and really maybe very challenging stuff for a Tuesday, but this is the kind of stuff that we love to dig into at Grasslands Church. And if this is interesting to you, I'd love for you to come and hang out with us on Sunday mornings. We meet at 221 North Railway Street in Medicine Hat at 10:15 a.m. You can find out more by clicking onto our website, or you can send us a message on our Facebook page. We'd love to have you there. We'd love to invite you into the conversation.